Hey everyone, it's Aga from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another fun beading video for you, or bead embroidery this time actually. But before I get started, just a quick reminder for you to check out the rest of our videos, and if you like what you see, if you've learned anything, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell just to know when we've posted new things and just to be up to date. In this video, which I'm going to try to keep quick and to the point, I'm going to talk to you about bead embroidery, what it is, how does it differ from bead weaving or beading, what do you need to start making your own designs, and what are the basic stitches that you need to know to start doing it. I'm going to show you how to make nice straight lines in 3 different ways and how to fill up a space with beads. Before I show you how to embroider with beads, why don't I briefly tell you about what bead embroidery is? It is a handicraft technique which you can use to make beautiful jewelry and accessories. It is similar to bead weaving or beading in the way that, well, you use beads and threads and needles, but there's one basic difference. In bead embroidery, you need a base material, a foundation onto which you sew your beads. It can be lacy stiff stuff, it can be stiff felt, or even just ultra suede, although that will be a little bit wonky. But you do need something to embroider on. Now that we've got the theory covered, let's get to practice. When it comes to the products that you're going to need, naturally you're going to need beads. Here I have Toho beads size 11 in gold and black, and size 15, again gold and black. You are also going to need a needle to sew the beads onto base material. Here I have two kinds of needles. A short one, some people prefer using a short needle. Currently, I prefer using a longer needle. I think this is size 12 needle. Obviously, you're going to need some thread. Here I have Nymo thread and 1G, but obviously you can use anything that is intended for beads. I prefer thicker ones. These are not very thick, but I really like thicker ones because you can really straighten up your rows, your lines with the thicker thread. You are also going to need scissors to cut your thread and the base material. I am also going to color it with a crayon or colored pencil. You can use any kind of colored pencil. I really recommend the watercolor ones because you can dilute them with water and it provides a really nice effect. I would stay away from markers because they can color your little fingers. You can use paint. I recommend acrylic paints. Just make sure you wait until they're fully dry, but they have really good coverage. And let's see what kind of coverage this will provide us. I'm coloring it in this color because that's the closest I have to gold, and we really don't want this white to peek from between the beads. So the inside is going to be filled with beads, both gold and black, and the sides are going to be gold. So now I'm going to start. I'm going to embroider these 3 lines with gold beads in 3 different ways, and I'll let you decide which one you prefer. Oh, and I'm going to make the vertices a little bit rounder because it's going to be easier at this point. So, the first method, the first stitch, is adding 2 beads, putting your needle through the base material roughly 2 beads away from where you came up. There. And then you go in between them on the line. and go forward through the last one that you added. And again, you take 2 beads, on the line, go between them, and through the last one that you added. And you just go on adding 2 beads. Try to push your needle through the base material right on the line. In this way, your line is going to be more straight. And you just continue with the next 2 beads. Now the second stitch that you can use to make a straight line is very similar to the first one, only you're gonna add 1 bead each time. Let me show you. You take 1 bead. It's also easier to measure the distance because it's roughly 1 bead away. It's easier to estimate. And you go back to the previous one, right here, forward through the 2. Now, let me show you again. You add 1, sew it on the line, go back before the one you added previously, and go through the 2. Let's do it again. One bead. And going back through 2. Now the third way to make a straight line is to string all the beads that you need for the entire line. Okay, I'm gonna leave some space for the rounded vertex. So I put my needle through the base material in here, but that's not it. It's kind of loose. So you secure it by going on the line between the beads and going back through the base material again on the line and over the beads, and that's how you fasten it to the base. You can go every other bead or every single bead, or even every third. This method is good for short lines. It wouldn't be good for a longer one, but it's good for shorter lines, or if you want to fill up a space with lines of beads, then you can use this stitch. I'm going to finish this part now, but I have to go back through the entire row, which is actually good because the more thread inside these beads, the straighter they're going to make this line. I'm going to use the one bead method. Going back by 2. And just one missing. And to close a line of beads like here, or if you had a circle, you just go back to as usual, but you connect it with the first bead that you added in the beginning. And you again put your needle through the line and follow through as if you just added that bead. So you go 2 beads back and through the next 3. That's it. So that's it for outline. It's just an example. I chose a triangle to show you the 3 kinds of stitches. So, as you can see, all the lines are quite straight. They could pass us straight, so to say. So this was the first method. As you can see, it's quite straight. We added 2 beads and went back through the last one. From the back it looks like this. And it looks quite straight, but if you look from the side, every other bead is kind of a little bit higher up than the one before it. So it's not my favorite type of stitch, but it's really great if you have long lines that you have to make. The second method we did, the stitch in which we only added 1 bead and went back through 2, it looks very neat from behind. And if you look from the side, it's really basically perfect. So I love this one. It takes much more time and effort, but if you like really nice, even, straight and sturdy lines, that's the one for you. And then the third line, it's okay. It's very convenient when you fill space with lines of beads. From the side, it's going to look different depending on where you're going to go over with a thread. If it's going to be every single bead or every other bead. I did every other bead, and that's what it looks like. Now you're ready to make your own lines and designs that include lines. Great! Now that we have the outline ready, let's fill up the space. We're going to be using something called the chaotic stitch. It's chaotic because you add beads, any beads you want actually. I've decided to add size 8 beads in black and gold as well. And you add beads one by one, just stitching them onto the backing, the base material I mean, with no plan, just making sure they are squeezed tightly together. So I'm adding one by one. Back one. And here, how about the large one? Let's add a size 8. Just make sure they're squeezed together. And how about a 15 size bead? Now how about the black one here? Size 11. I'm going to keep it mainly gold. Only with occasional black spots. Just because I like it. This way. Okay, all that's left is this final bead, which I will add now. As you can see, I've made it so that there's more black out here, and then it just falls down kind of. Just so. I would like to show you now how to finish your thread in a way so that the knot doesn't get untied, and so it's solid until you glue it onto the backing. So you just go under one of the threads that you can see here in the back, make a loop, and then go through that loop and pull that loop down so that you have another loop, and you go through this loop and then pull it. But the trick is that you go through a little bit of the base material here and pull through, and now you can sort of, and that's that. As you can see, the beads pushed the outline a little bit. It won't be important once we do the finishing. This one, however, stay perfectly nice and straight, and that's the stitch in which we just added one bead and went back through two. Anyway, that's it for this video. Make sure to like this one if you enjoyed it, if you learned anything, and stay tuned for part 2, in which I will show you how to finish this piece and how to make really nice edges in 2 different ways. Thanks for watching. All of the supplies that you can see there, the beads, the threads, the base material, and more, you can find on the site eurekacrystalbeads.com. Thanks for joining me here now, and I look forward to doing videos for you again. Bye!